Hello there, hi, how are you doing? This is Gosia from Cosmic Agency, and this is a special episode in my channel. A special episode because it's been 5 years of contact. Yes, it's been the anniversary passed 19th of December. In fact, I was going to share with you our first conversation ever with Swaruu, but looking at it, it was a bit personal. Maybe I will share it one day. So it's been 5 years of the contact, and it's the end of the year, so I decided to make this video sharing some of the impressions, conclusions, contemplations after these 5 years. And also this video is sort of an echo of the video that Mari Swaruu made just recently with her impressions after 5 years of contact. So I'm going to be extending some of her ideas here as well. Well, let's begin. Before I begin, I want to say that I'm going to be speaking just for myself in this video, even though Robert and we are having this experience together, and many of these ideas and feelings for sure are shared by him. But out of respect for the independence of his own ideas, and out of respect for the independence of my own ideas, I'm going to be speaking for myself, not because I want to dissociate myself. That's never going to happen. We will always be a team here working on this project, but I cannot assume that all my impressions are his as well. I will let him speak for himself. So it's going to be just spoken for me, by me, for me, in my name. So as you know, everything began in 2017 at the end. My first conversation with Swaruu happened on the 19th of December. So yes, we are now beginning the 6th year of contact, and it was just with Swaruu. We have started this, as a friendship. She approached us, she was introduced to us by the older lady that we always talk about, and we began communication, talking. In fact, in the beginning, I didn't understand why she's talking to me and why she's spending so much time talking to me. She seemed very willing and open and interested, and always saying, okay, I'm looking forward to seeing you again. When do we meet again? When do we talk again? I didn't understand why she's spending so much time with me, because also you have to understand she was at that time some sort of a leader at the ship, or a guide behind the leader. I don't remember, but definitely she had an important role on the ship. And I didn't understand why she was dedicating that time to me, to talking to me. But now I understand, and also she told me later that actually we are friends. As you know, I'm in the immersion. Supposedly I walked in here in 2017, shortly before starting this work. So Swaruu and we had some sort of a agreement or deal. I don't know what Robert here, how Robert fits in. We don't know, actually. They don't tell us, and they don't know. But for sure he has a role here as well. But just speaking for myself, supposedly we met at the academy with Swaruu. We were friends, and I decided to come under an immersion program to do this. So definitely it was some sort of a plan from before. Although also, I don't know if I told you, but they told me once that actually I was woken up from my immersion once. I don't know under what circumstances, who asked to do this, but I was woken up. Apparently something was not going right as I envisioned it. So I was woken up and I was walking through the hallway with the immersion liquid still falling from my body, and I asked to talk to Swaruu and to redirect a flow of this work, and I was put back down. And so definitely this was some sort of an agreement and plan from before. However, from this side of things, from the side of things of Gosia, and for the sake of this project, I am a human being, and I was just a person with a YouTube channel who offered to share their information. Because like Mari Swaruu said in her video, and this is a very important point which I always stress as well, they never asked us to share any of this. It was our idea, even though, like I said, I think this was the plan from before. It was like agreed upon with Swaruu Erra. But that aside, my role here is as a YouTuber, as their friend, but also a YouTuber in the beginning, offering to share the information. And this is important because it shows that there was no agenda here from their side approaching us and wanting to share what they have to say. It was us, because we believed it was so important. So Swaruu Erra agreed. In the beginning she was doubtful, but again, now that I look back, knowing that it was some kind of a plan from before, and knowing that they knew who I was, I think her doubts, I think, were more of me, of her testing my involvement. Like, she wanted to see how serious I am wanting to share this, because they never want to impose anything. They really wanted to be sure that I truly want to do this. So anyway, we started doing this, and she was very willing, very, very, very eager to do this. Very, very happy. She started to write her own articles, in fact, and yeah, it was a good time. Well, continues to be. It's just that it always changes the dynamics of things. It's very important for me to say that I always respected her time. I always do. It's very important for me that they know this, that they are always free. So her time was always respected. In fact, like I said, I didn't know why she wanted to come back and talk to me. I was surprised with each new meeting. But like I said, she was very, 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 very interested to do this. Well, this point of them wanting to please is very true. I can confirm that totally, and it's very important. It's very important that Mari mentioned this, that it's just not coming from me, but it's coming from her herself, admitting this and saying this, because this was the cause of and is sometimes still cause of many problems. Them wanting to please people, not being able to say no, always wanting to appear like they are available and friendly and open and loving everybody. And I don't know to what degree Swaruu Erra in the beginning felt that with me. I don't know if she truly felt that she had some sort of a obligation here with me for me opening the channel, or I didn't feel that, honestly. And also, apart from the fact that like I explained, we had this plan from before. But apart from that, here my role was as some sort of a YouTuber who comes and meets them and offers to share information in the beginning. Now, we became friends, but in the beginning that's how it was. So I understand she might have felt that. However, she never gave me that impression. She has always been very, very willing, very, very open, wanting to share. In fact, this is something that even up to date, the Swaruu's state. They quote this mysterious someone who once told them in the past that if you have any knowledge, don't keep it to yourself. Share, pass it on to others. And that's how we all feel here, including myself and Robert. We all have the same kind of a sickness in common, wanting to share. So I understand. So that's what I felt from her, that she was really enjoying being able to share. But sure, at that time, we didn't know yet that the problem is not that. The problem is that they didn't know how to put limits on themselves and where to stop. We didn't know that at the time because they never really expressed that. Even, I would say that they even didn't know themselves where their true limit was. But it is true that they have this characteristic in common, that they like to please people and make sure that they receive the validation. This especially is true of Swaruu Erra and Aneeka. Yes, he and their late Swaruus are not that way so much, even though it still runs somewhere within them, but not as much as with Swaruu Erra and Aneeka. So they wanted validation. They couldn't say no because they didn't want to hurt people's feelings. They didn't want to be seen as bad friends because they wanted to be liked and loved. so that was the issue. And Swaruu Erra also didn't want to disappoint the public. Like she was saying things, a lot of things, because she wanted to please the people, the public. Not that what she was saying was not true. It's just that she was afraid of touching any more dangerous or other subjects that could not be liked, like Yaski does, for example, because she wanted to be liked and accepted. It was the first time she was coming out in public, so she wanted to say things in a manner that would be accepted by the larger public. And yeah, they were always looking for a validation. Like I remember one time we had this situation with Swaruu where I was explaining to her, listen, you don't have to come all the time. You don't have to like attend to me. There's no obligation here. I don't need this in that sense. So she took it like I'm saying that I don't need her. So she felt hurt and she got offended and she left and she said, okay, I don't need you either and your stupid channel or something like that. I'm not sure that's exactly what she said, but this is what happened. And that night I was crying and I was like, what happened? What did I say? I was just trying to let her know that she's free, that she's not like obliged to do this, and only come when you want, when you feel inspired. But she took it like I don't need her, like I'm rejecting her or like I'm pushing her away. So then she admitted she was crying that night too, and we patched it up. It was all okay. But as you can see here, there's a very fine line here. You want to make them, you want to make sure they know they are wanted and loved, but at the same time you don't want to crowd them or make them feel like they have to be with you, babysit you or something. So it's complicated, and especially because we are all talking just online. If we had each other in front of each other, it's so much easier to explain these things and understand each other's necessities and needs. But here all we have is just this chat, so it's double more difficult to explain these things to each other. They also wanted to please new people. They were very open in the beginning to new contactees. This was the time where I actually introduced Swaruu to different people, including Dale Harder, but there are others, anonymous ones. And well, I didn't know at that time, and I think they didn't know themselves at that time, that it's what's going to burn them at the end, being so open to people. So I was slowly starting to realize this, so I stopped introducing new people to them, because I already could see that this is not really something they need. And also it has to be stressed that they, for sure, just like they couldn't say no to other people, they couldn't say no to us. They couldn't say no to us, and it took us a while to realize this, because in the beginning, if they don't say no, if they don't say anything, well then how do we know that, how do we know anything? If they are always willing and friendly and nice and open and available. So it took us a while to realize that it probably was happening to us as well, that they can't say no to us, and so it's very important for me that they know this, that they should only be with us or come talk to us if they truly want, and if they truly want to share something. So now I'm like always repeating this to them. But in the beginning, I didn't know this, that they didn't know how to put limits. So I wasn't perhaps stressing this point enough. I'm not sure. And the problem of them being so open and available and friendly and just, taking in anybody, like Mari Swaruu said, talking to too many people at once, is that it opens expectations. And that's what causes problems later on if at some point these expectations cannot be met in the eyes of the contactees. And they cannot be met because simply, technically, they are unable to talk to so many people at the same time and, attend to them. So the expectations were broken in the eyes of many contactees, and that's also what contributed to even more stress on their side as Swaroonians and Taigetans, because they didn't want to disappoint people. That was the issue. They wanted to please everybody. So knowing Aneeka, for example, knowing that she's disappointing people by not being available, that caused even more stress for her, more feeling of guilt inside, even though I was telling her, Aneeka, you are not hurting anybody by saying that you're not available or that you cannot talk to them this week or that you are busy. I mean, everybody should understand that. They're busy, they're doing things, they have stuff to do. What the hell? They are not here to be just online and talking to people. Anybody would understand that. Us as well. We were telling her this all the time. we are the first ones to understand this. Believe me, you don't have to be online all the time. Here again, I have to be careful because she doesn't feel like Swaruu, like she's not needed or wanted. It's a complicated, fine line here. So I was telling her, Aneeka, just be honest with the people and tell them you cannot be there because you're busy. It's not going to hurt anybody's feelings. Don't worry about it so much. People understand. Here people are busy too. But you have to understand that in their society, like Mari Swaruu explained as well in her video, it's this sense of service. It's this concept of service to others as well as to yourself. They're in that holistic world, they are kind of always in the mode of helping each other. One side helping another, but here on Earth it doesn't always work this way. So if you are constantly in that mode of service to others, like they are, well, that doesn't end well for them because it just, in the end, puts them in a state of slavery. So they started to feel like they were slaves, even though they at the same time made that for themselves, in the sense that they were unable to put limits and say no to people and always wanting to be available and friends with everybody. In fact, Swaruu in the beginning, I remember in the conversations, she always used to say, "Hello, Gosia, how can I be of service today?" Like, it's okay, you don't have to be of service all the time. How can I be of service? So Aneeka was becoming friends with a lot of people here, humans, and that's when she also was open to the infiltrators, and she took them on as new contactees, even though I don't like this word, and she started sharing information with them. This was also part of the strategy, even though, you know, I think they were friends, of course, as well, but it was a sort of a strategy because Aneeka was saying that if it's just us, Robert and me, sharing this, then maybe it's like not credible enough if comparing to if there were more people sharing this. It's like it gives more validity to the whole experience, that it's just not just us talking. I was actually against this, to be honest, in the very beginning. I was like not sure because I was already knowing Aneeka and I knew that this might not turn well here for her because she was getting pulled in so many different directions and I didn't know if she can handle this. But of course I couldn't say anything because we don't control them. We cannot say what they can do, what they cannot do. They always have to feel free and make their own decisions in the end. So I couldn't say anything. But in the beginning I wasn't sure it's a good idea. Then I was thinking, oh, maybe it is a good idea because I was also enjoying the fact that I'm having some help in the English world. There's more information reaching the public and I don't have to work on it myself. So I was okay with it. But in the end, of course, you know, it didn't turn out nice at all. And anyway, but that was because Aneeka was so open and so available to everybody and so wanting to be seen as all-powerful. And Yaski recently told me this as well, that this is kind of a problem that they have, that they just wanted to be perceived this way, that they can with it all, that they can do it all, that they can talk to everybody, all-powerful extraterrestrials. But, well, we know very well that's not the case. Now, this point of having to put limits on yourself is super, super important and something that both Swaruu and Aneeka of Temer didn't fully understand or apply to themselves. And this is when Aneeka started to realize this and started to realize that she needs to talk to less people, cut off some of her friends, but not because she didn't like them or because she didn't want to talk to them, because she was literally technically incapable anymore of handling so many contacts. And I even got into some discussion with Dale because, well, they couldn't talk to Dale also so much like before, as Swaruu, who was his friend, wasn't around anymore. Aneeka was just too saturated. And I was getting into the discussions because, I was explaining this to him, that they can't talk to anybody. It's not like they're abandoning you, because that's exactly what they are worried about too, that these people will feel like they are abandoned. And that added to their feeling of guilt, of sadness and stress. So I was getting stressed when I saw that Dale was, for example, feeling that, because I knew that if he feels that, it's going to make them feel even worse. It's like a loophole. It's like a vicious circle. So I was trying to make him understand that. He did understand that, of course. He always supports them. But at the same time, it's difficult for me because I didn't want to, or I don't want to be seen like I'm controlling here who they can talk to or who they cannot talk to. Because it's not like that. I'm just trying to put the limits for them sometimes they don't put on themselves. Because I know them. I know how they feel and how they operate. So, and this actually also involves me. This applies to me as well. Don't think that I'm like, for example, agreeing with Aneeka that she shouldn't talk to that person or that person, and me talk to me. No, I always stress this point to her, me including. If you feel you need to take a break, even if you need to stop this whole project for yourself, for your own health and mental stability, do it. Do it. It's okay. We'll totally understand. Include me in that list of people you cannot talk to. I'm not here anyone special. But it continued. She didn't want to cut off everybody, and she was just so addicted in a way to this project, to this work. And we all are in some way. We just keep giving and giving and giving. And I have to stress this also, that it took me a lot of work actually as well to make them understand that I also don't have expectations, that they have always, that they are always free. If they want to disappear for 5 months or for a year or for whatever, it's okay. Of course, I'm going to miss them. I don't want them now to feel like Swaruu felt, that they are not going to be missed or wanted. It's just that I want them to feel that they are free and that they have no obligation at all. It's super important for me because this is what I need as well. I need personal freedom. So this is the last thing I would take away from someone, their personal freedom. So yes, we are always going back to the point of giving. We are all kind of addicted to this giving and giving and giving and giving, all of us. And, for me, for example, it's not that I'm only receiving. I'm sitting there and receiving and being all happy, like many contactees do, which I'm not blaming for anything right now. It's okay just to receive as well. Everybody has different purpose in life and mission, but my need is to share it. I need to give. So I sit there and that's all I do all day. Think about what video to do next, what new idea to develop with the video, how to combine the videos, of course not to mention making the videos themselves, then doing all these interviews and lives if I feel there's something that needs to be clarified. All this drains me very much, actually, talking to people in lives or doing the interviews. I don't know why. I don't know how Robert can do it. He does lives almost every day. For me, it's very draining. But it's my form of giving to the people. And I feel anxious that at some point I will not be able to give you all these videos and all this information. So all this that I'm saying about them, that they have to put the limits on themselves, I should be applying this to myself as well. Because it's like some kind of a soul commitment, I wouldn't say addiction or obsession to continue giving, but it's some sort of a soul commitment that we all in our group here feel. So I completely understand them in that desire to give, because it's not about not giving, not wanting to give. It's about putting limits on yourself. For example, in my case, I would love nothing else but to be able to give from myself, from my own memory. For example, if I see questions, it frustrates me that I don't know the answers, that my memory is blocked, and I have to rely on them to give me the answers. I would love to be able to do it myself without this limitation, and not to always have to resort to them for the answers, because I don't want to bother them. I don't want to, even though they feel they are not bothered, they like to give. But, there is that fine line. How much is too much when we are asking all these questions? So, hey, I would love nothing more than to have my own memory and be able to give of myself and just respond to people's questions myself. It's very frustrating for me that I'm sitting here with this limitation, knowing that I'm in some kind of immersion program I'm supposedly on some level I know all this, but I don't know anything. So it's very irritating for me on my soul level that I want to give, and I'm stuck because I don't have information myself. That's from my side here, that's how it feels. Wanting to give, but not being able to give more because of that memory limitation. On the other hand, I think if I was doing this by myself, with my own information, it wouldn't be the same. I have to play this role of the, contactee, talking to the ETs there, and I understand. And also, that would, if I had the full memory, it would deprive them of participating in this experience in this way, because in another way they can, like they could open their own channel, like Mari is doing, but it wouldn't be the same like what we are doing. And they like to share, they want to give, they want to participate. So it's not about not wanting to give. The best example is Mari's channel, that she opened this even without us knowing. No one asked her to do this. This is a very important point. She opened this channel because she wants to share, she wants to give. And the key here is not about not giving, it's about putting limits on yourself. And that's why my limit is not talking to people, not being too engaged with people personally. I don't approach people. I don't receive their friendships, even though many of you would like to talk to me and be friends. But this is my limit. This is where I know I have to put the limit, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do my job effectively. And that's why Mari has her channel comments deactivated, and you have to understand it. That's the reason. That's the limit. She knows the mistakes of her predecessors. She knows how available they were to everybody, taking on too many contacts and pleasing everybody. She doesn't want to fall into that same trap. So deactivating the comments is the first step she did in order to protect herself, protect her field, her energy, and her efforts, because interacting with people is draining. It's super draining. Interacting with people in the comment section, in groups and all that, is very draining. Like, for example, every day I have this task. I have to go through the comments and I have to approve pending comments. So I'm going and I have to delete the trolls. So my attention skips through the positive comments and I go right to the negative, because that's the one I have to catch and fish out and delete. And then pending. And that's very draining. And listening to all the people's comments and questions, millions of questions that I'm not able to answer or pass to them because it's just too much. And then million types of complaints and criticisms, constructive, not so constructive, suggestions, because everybody has their own ideas how to do this, how they would do that. It's very draining. So well done, Mari Swaruu, for taking this step and making this decision of deactivating the comments. That's one example of how they should put the limits on themselves. So I hope you understand all these different limits that myself and Mari Swaruu also has. This is for the effectivity of the work itself and for our personal energetic protection as well. Well, this is something that is very important to mention as well, because with all our work that we are doing, none of us actually knows what effect and what reach we have in the world. And if what we are doing has any influence on the global awareness and global consciousness. But what we are doing is try to help from within the individual awareness, and according to Athena, this is how it needs to be done. I'm going to read her words here. It's from Spanish. She says, we cannot help. Help cannot come only from the inside, from the base, which is to lift the level of consciousness of the human mentality. We are trying to change things from below so that the earth will not be resonant to those kind of negative infestations. Because it's like when you have bacteria in your body, there's something in your body that resonates, that gives the environment for the bacteria to invade your organism. So here she says, like for example, if we had to go fight bacteria one by one with the arms, with the weapons, in that way, one way is to combat directly the bacteria, killing them one by one with a little rifle, and another is to turn the whole body to have a specific characteristics that naturally make the environment not appropriate, not open for that kind of bacteria invasion in the first place. So that's what we are trying to do. But whether we have the effect, we don't know. What we are doing is just because that's what we feel we have to do. And I told Athena that I feel with this whole work like I'm attending a fire and I have potatoes. So they are giving me the potatoes, they are sharing the information, the knowledge. I'm making these potatoes in the fire, I'm preparing the potatoes, I'm just attending the fire and the potatoes. And then the potatoes come out and they get distributed. I have no idea what happens next. I have no idea who they feed, how many people they feed, if they feed anybody at all. My job only is to attend the fire and prepare these potatoes that keep coming. So that's how I feel. I don't know next. I don't know what's happening beyond that. And here also Athena said something similar. She said, well, that's my worry as well, that I don't have a way of knowing how much we are impacting, how much impact we have, and how much people we reach. Yaski says that the impact is strong. I'm going to leave you actually with the words here by Yaski herself. This is how she perceives this, and this is how I see it myself.
We cannot know what impact we're having, nor what is being done with our information. But that doesn't matter. Just be who we are, and that's it. The rest doesn't concern us. Whether it is worth it or not does not depend on other people, but on the value we give it, what it means to us. We are in the middle of a terrible war for humanity and for their souls. This is not a time to falter or to retreat. We may be few, but we are like the 300 Spartans against an enemy numbering in the thousands. We do it for our souls, and not to be considered as traitors to humanity, having strong modern weaponry, media, with thousands listening. Because nowadays wars are fought with information. We do not have an obvious global impact, but we do not have to reach people directly. We reach them by modifying the minds of some people, who will then influence others and not even know it. Because even if they do not agree with what they heard from us, we have already modified their ideas a little bit, and they will complete them with their own, especially if they are conspiracy theorists. And with that, a chain reaction is created, with which, between all of us, at least we are giving the cabal a hard time and making them sweat, because the cabal at the human level is terrified by the awakening of humanity, and that is why they are hurrying with everything they are doing. And yes, it is true what we said before. The fact that we are accelerating the awakening of the people, or them realizing all that is false around them, is also causing their own destruction because of what we said above. Because the cabal, because of us, has to erase all these conspiranoids before the mobs of angry people carrying guns and torches go after them to their mansions and their luxury yachts.
And for the final comment here, as a final point, is sense of responsibility. And this is a very important topic as well, and very, very delicate, and something that sometimes people, I think, don't think about. A great sense of responsibility that falls on our shoulders, but also here I want to talk about the responsibility that falls on their shoulders. Here, in words of Athena, I'm going to read this. This is from Spanish. She says, the major problem or the major burden of us here who are on this side of this project is the tremendous emotional discharge, effort that this brings. And why? Responsibility of what we say, if it's correct, if it's productive or not, if it's trustworthy, if it has fundaments, the basis, because if not, it loses credibility very easily, because that's the fact. People are here looking at everything with magnifying glass. If there is a mistake with a date or something, or a small little detail, people are looking at everything and pinpointing those details and errors, if there are any, and looking at everything, monitoring and assessing everything. And if they find anything that might be a little error here and there, or the date is wrong, okay, well then maybe the ETs, they are not who they say they are, because they have to be perfect. They cannot make any mistakes. But that's not how it is. Sometimes even they can make little mistakes here and there. They are people. And that's how it is. So the responsibility here on their shoulders because of this is huge. And here, important, and above all, you are constantly questioned if what you are doing is right or not. So this responsibility is huge and it's eating you inside. And you'll understand now what she means by if what we are doing is right or not. She continues, I don't doubt that your work is hard, because it is. But from this side, the emotional charge, the emotional effort is that it's taking the health of everybody involved, and it is even creating separations between the members of the crew here, because the opinions vary. Because I think I told you, some people there on the ship, they have a different opinion about how to run this or whether this should continue or not, because they worry about the health of their friends. And now this is important. From this side, we have a burden of responsibility of what we say, of the consequences, whether good or bad, that we have over the people, including whether we are making their lives worse or better. The karma, so to speak, of the fact that we are moving the minds of the thousands, because from in one way or another, we are forcing them to think like we do. So from a lot of points of view, we are imposing our values. And this is where she's doubting, okay, whether this is right or this is wrong. And this is something that they have to carry on their shoulders, because it's true. They are guiding the perception of thousands of people, of all of you. So many of you have changed your values and your perceptions and what you believe in because of them, because of what they say. Well, do they have the right to do that? Do they have the right to tell you how to think, what the values should be, and how you should perceive the reality? Is this something they should do, they shouldn't do? Is it too much? Is it invasive? Are they imposing themselves? So you see, this is something that they have to carry all the time, each time they give information, because on the other hand, they are super careful not to impose anything. They never want to impose anything. So here, guiding the perception of people and the beliefs, it is imposing in a way how they think. So this is a huge responsibility on their shoulder, if this is the right thing or not. They're always asking themselves this. And some time ago, Athena told us, well, guys, here we feel like, responsibility you have, well, maybe it's not so much, because at any point you can just wash your hands. If something goes wrong, you can just go your own way and just say, oh, we just believed in them, it's not our fault, we thought they were who they say they were. So she felt like maybe the responsibility here for us is not so huge. I understand her point. I understand that their responsibility with that whole guiding perception of the thousands is huge, but no, we cannot just wash our hands here and disappear and go our happy merry way. continuing our life if this failed, for example, because our names, our faces, our whole lives are so intertwined into this and linked to this forever. There's no going back. This is like going to be with us forever for the rest of our lives. And some of the responsibility of whether this is right or not to guide people's perception falls on me as well, on us as well. We are accomplices in this. I feel I am participating in that guiding of people's perceptions all the time. So some of that responsibility falls hugely on my shoulders, our shoulders as well. So it's a great big pressure. And for us, the pressure is just like for them, because they are watched by other races, by the federations, by density, other beings from other densities, by the people, everybody analyzing what they do. It's the same for us. You know, it's not easy to kind of represent, which I'm saying kind of because we're not really representing anybody. They don't have representation here, official on Earth. But kind of, you know, you are talking to this other race and you have to explain that other race to the people. And it is a huge responsibility in front of the people, because people are watching every step, everything we say. You analyze, you know, our face expressions and all that. Then we are, monitored by them. So we want to always make sure and please them, whether what we do and say is correct. So that's the constant stress as well, to, you know, make sure I say something correctly or not correctly, if I forgot something or I didn't forget something. And then also we are always monitored by other races and by the federation itself. So there's a lot of pressure here on both sides. But especially I wanted to explain to you the pressure they feel on their side and the responsibility, because I'm pretty sure you didn't think of those points that Athena here mentioned. So as a final comment, and I'm going to go home because it's getting dark and cold, I am just so thrilled still and amazed at this experience with them. Just like I was the first day, I still continue to be, even though, yeah, it kind of became normal in that sense that, you know, this is our like reality now and not 3D things. But I'm still taking it as a gift every single day. And I do have to say this to them again and again. If at any point you feel it should end, this project, and you don't want to continue anymore, please understand that I'm totally okay with it, and I will understand. We have done already so much, and of course, I would like to continue, but you cannot see it like you are doing this for me. So that's, for me, it's very important always to say this. We are a team in this, and we want to continue doing this because we both want to continue. I'm actually surprised in a way that, you know, this experience has lasted so much. I mean, it survived a lot. It had ups and downs. It had different phases, different, you know, dynamics, different people. It has survived a lot, but I think it survived because in the end, both sides, we have respected each other and we have kind of served each other. I feel like they have served us, but not us like us. It was because I am doing this for the humanity, for the people. So us and the humanity, they served us and the humans, and we also served them. I feel like I have been doing this also to do this right for them, even though they never asked. That's very important. So we are both like serving each other and understanding each other's needs and trying to understand and accept each other's needs, respectful of each other's space, etc. So I think in the end, that's why it lasted the way as long as it lasted, and I think it will continue to, because if we understood each other, if we reach this understanding now, after all this time, it's going to be hard to find disagreements now at this point, because we understand each other pretty well at this point. I think, and I hope they feel the same. And it's the same cause that we feel. We both feel this passion, this burning inside of us to continue to give and to share, and we are bonded in that desire here. So thank you very much for watching. This was a lot of rambling. I know I'm scared actually to go home and edit this, because I know I'm going to be thinking this is a lot of just random rambling, but it's what I wanted to share. I don't know, it just came to me to share this. So there it is. Thank you again, Enjoy the beginning of the new year, and let's see what this year and the new years after that bring. I'm very excited about the Mari Swaruu's channel. Please subscribe to that channel and follow it, because for sure a lot of interesting information will come. However, Mari Swaruu, do not stress yourself at all, and do it at your own pace, because no one here has any expectations. This all came as a total surprise to everybody. So every video is a gift that you share with the people here. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day, of your evening, and I will go home and rest now. Bye bye everybody. Have a good day.